Hello and welcome back to the Mind Over Mic podcast. Today I am joined by a longtime friend, a former supervisor from my time working as a barista, and just an all-around good human being. Bronson is a very special person. He and his wife have been on sort of a little journey over the last few years. They opened their dream coffee shop, the Fox's Den Board Game Café, and that's in Blountville, Tennessee. It's a very special place. I go there a lot, obviously, but he's a special human as well. So I really just wanted to get him in the studio and chat about what his life has been like over the last few years, surviving some of the obstacles that the pandemic threw at him and getting through some big hurdles in his personal life, and then leading into where he's at now with a successful business that he's dreamed about since he was a kid. So it's a very special story, and Bronson is very generous with his details. He goes in depth on some of the mental takeaways and some of the real hardships that he and his wife have gone through to get to where they're at now. So very honored to have him in the studio today. Before we jump into the episode, though, as always, I got just a couple of very, very quick dates today. Coming up first is on the 24th of this month, October 24th. I'm going to be at the Blue Ridge Comedy Club in Bristol. That's for a charity event for the Junior League of Bristol, and I'm very honored to be a part of that. So there's going to be some very talented comedians donating their time to that show, and I'll be a part of that on the 24th. The 25th is our next Don't Tell Tri-City show. That's in downtown Johnson City. That's at one of our favorite venues, and we've got a returning headliner who's not been with us in over a year now. So he's coming all the way down from Cincinnati, and he's fantastic. That's on the 25th. Then I do want to go ahead and announce on the 15th of November. I know that's a ways out, but the 15th of November, that's actually my birthday. And for my birthday this year, I've planned one of our biggest shows yet. That's going to be a very, very special lineup that's featured at our biggest show yet. And that's going to be at the Tennessee Hills Distillery in Bristol, Tennessee. So it's a beautiful space. We've not been there yet, but they're so good to us. It's a great brand. It's a reputable brand in the area, and we're very, very excited to get to work with them. And we've got an amazing lineup all planned out with a headliner from Nashville coming. So that's on November 15th. That's all the dates I want to plug at this moment. Let's go ahead and jump into this episode with my good buddy, Mr. Bronson Bess. I went to dinner with Silas last night. Shout out to our friend Silas. And we were sitting there and they had a football game on, and we spent like 2 hours just going like, what is this? I had to explain downs to him. I was yikes. This is what fourth down means. Yeah. Because he was like, when they say like 4th and 10, what does that mean? And I was like, word? Wow. For real? Are you serious?
Is this a bit?
Well, I was like, I'm the one who grew up without a dad. If anybody should not know this information, you'd think it was me.
You're having that moment where you get to pass on your knowledge. And
it was
like, Silas, I'll be your dad.
It was a
Come on, buddy.
Moment.
4 and 10. They got 10 yards.
I love
fourth
him
down.
so much.
He's so great.
Yeah, he's great. It was fun. I met him at Starbucks, which is also where I met our guest today. So yeah, small world. I do. So we're gonna jump all over the place, I'm sure, because that's my favorite episodes. It's just it's all over the place.
I want there to be continuality.
Sure.
Continuality.
Contentality. There's gonna be a lot of content in the alley, and we are gonna have a good show. But the point that I was trying to get to is that you now own a coffee shop, which is hilarious. Because if we go backwards to when I met you, you interviewed me for Starbucks. You're a manager there at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think we discussed the idea of you like having your own shop. Like not when we first met.
No.
But
not
you
during an
did
interview.
have that dream by then, right?
Oh yeah. So like my whole thing, when I got hired at Starbucks, I was hired by Everett. He's like my coffee mentor, guru, older brother figure.
I forgot that name. I do know that
so
name.
Good.
Yeah.
So he's so amazing. I'm definitely sending this to him when it's done.
Shout out to Everett.
We did a podcast. We had 4 whole episodes, and then COVID happened, and we're like, oh, well, I guess we're not doing this anymore.
What was it called, the pod?
Critical Critique.
Critical Critique.
Yep.
I can barely say the name of it.
Yeah, dude. It's got 3 episodes.
Are they still up?
They are still up.
All
I
right.
pay $10 a month for the worst comedy show to be on Spotify.
Everybody go check out Critical Critique.
It's really good. We would read Amazon reviews and then review those reviews.
Okay.
And so someone would be like, yeah, this watch is $10,000. It sucks. And we'd be like, hey, that's a good review. But
What a show.
what a show.
You're like, let's package this.
Literally.
We got to get this branding
Podcast
out.
gold. I don't know why people didn't listen to it.
Well, most pods, like, that's one thing when you start one too. First of all, everyone wants to give you terrible advice, which is honestly, for what I must just be a guy that attracts that in life. I have so many people that every time I see them, they're like, what you need to do is this. And it's just the worst every time.
Hey, that follows you around forever.
I mean, I get like they want to be helpful or whatever, but part of me too is like, I'm just doing my thing, man. Like, you know, like that's the whole point of this show is there's not really like a specific theme or like a box that it fits in. It's just people I want to talk to. Yeah. Which keeps it fresh for me and then makes me not get bored. Like the diversity, I need that.
You don't want to get stuck doing the same thing over and over and over.
Exactly.
Then it gets monotonous and you don't want to do it anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Or you just run out of guests. Like with my old show that we used to do, that was the thing. It was like, you know, pretty quickly we talked to every comedian within 400 miles. Some of them like 9
And then
times.
you're just like, well, that's it.
What do we do?
We talk to everybody that's
and it's
here.
the same conversation. Yeah, this has been interesting because I mean, I don't know if you are listening. This is your first episode. I implore you go listen to the others because it's just a mixed bag of information. There's no you will learn nothing and have a great time doing it.
I've listened to 4 or 5 episodes
all today
in preparation for this. No, not all today.
Mostly today.
No, I finished Sarah's on the way over here and she was great.
It was great.
I didn't know that was even a job you could have.
Yeah.
And I actually knew what are they called, the foddles and
fodder shock.
Fodder shock.
Did you know?
I did know because my mom is a craft monster. So she's like, I bought fodder shock for the store. Well, that's a hard one to say
Fodder
carefully.
shock for the store, yeah. Critical critiques. I can't say any of it.
She literally put some on our little fireplace today, decorating for the fall, and I was like, well, that's weird. And then I literally got in the car and I was like, oh my gosh. It's like I'm in the Matrix.
I had no idea. So yeah, we're talking about Sarah Delbin, who's very sweet and a friend of mine now, but she is a special events manager for Johnson City. So she discussed getting ready for the fall, and fodder shock is like it's like
fake corn
husks piled up and tied at the center, and it's very decorative. But I don't guess I ever knew the name of it for whatever reason.
I just thought it was
fodder shock. I would have just said corn pile. I don't know. Corn.
It's like, fake corn. Like
is that not what cornhole is? I thought that's a word, cornhole. Yeah. Anyway, so you're decorating the shop. You're getting ready for the fall's big season for you, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's the best. That's for us.
Yeah. Fall and winter for sure.
Fall and winter is where
it's all cozy in there.
It's so cozy, and it's like, do I need to take us back to the first question that got us here?
Sure.
Okay.
We're going to keep doing that throughout the episode.
I know we are. I know. Yeah. You're the one who has to edit it together and make it, make sense. So.
I don't edit much, I'll be honest.
Sick. Okay.
I fade it in, I fade it out. I'll probably cut some of the things I said at the start of this.
What I really want to talk about, I don't know what you could be possibly talking about.
You know what? You're right.
Another album up there, I think.
You know what? You're right. I'll leave it.
Your favorite comedy album right there.
You know what? I'll leave it in.
No, when I was when I first started working at Starbucks, in my interviews with Everett, I was like, I want to own my own coffee shop.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, but this is a Starbucks, so like, why should I hire you? I was like, I don't know. I love coffee. I have since I was like 2. There's this awful Christmas video on a VHS somewhere of me crying in my mom's arms. I'm like 3 and bawling my eyes out, and she's holding a little cup of like black coffee. And when she holds it to me, I start drinking. I shut up. Yeah. And so I kind of felt like I've been destined to do this, you know? And it's so weird to watch old videos anyway. Yeah. But like pulling out a VHS player to like, what was I like when I was 3? Oh, still a brat. Cool. That's great. I haven't changed.
We have them too. So this is kind of weird. I've never heard you say that before. This is a little weird. My granddad was like every Christmas with the camcorder, like hold it up.
They get the one like one of those.
Gotta hold it up, and he took them from VHS to DVD. That was like his big project later in his life. Was like, and then I later after he passed away took them from DVD to digital. So I had to sit through and watch them, and it's hundreds of hours of footage and stuff. But there is I put together sort of like a greatest hits disc for my family because there's ones we still talk about, and one of them is when I was a kid. Some of my first words were I used to say the word hot because I would sip from his coffee. He drank coffee all the time. Nice. So there's home videos of me at 2 sipping from his coffee and going hot, hot, hot.
Nice.
And that's like, I couldn't believe it. You were saying it. It's very similar.
Because then you're like, you know, people grow up and like, oh, I gotta have my coffee in the morning,
Yeah.
or like all these other dumb things.
Oh, I was a
And some
junkie
people,
from the start.
Yeah, dude, I'm like 10 at church, and I'm like, where's the coffee? There's black coffee over there. Oh, I'm gonna go get some coffee. And
Did you
like,
take a breath? Like there's those videos of me as a real kid, but I didn't really start drinking it until. I mean, I drank like his terrible coffee, Folgers and Coffee Mate.
I didn't do any like fancy single origins or anything like upper end coffee until maybe my 20s.
Is that?
You know?
But before you're at Starbucks though, still.
No.
So you came to Starbucks and learned
it was
there.
Yeah, it was literally like I'm all about coffee. I went to high school and I'm like, hey, my whole thing is coffee and I want to be a psychiatrist. That didn't work. And I go to college.
You do need a psychologist. That's good.
Yeah, I do need one.
That is good.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, then I go to college and I'm like, man, I think I could do a coffee shop thing all over my own. I look at how much money that costs. I'm
A lot.
I can't ever.
But I can work at a Starbucks.
But I could work at a Starbucks and maybe work my way up to it. And then that's kind of like owning my own place.
I mean, it's definitely a start. It's a foundation.
Yeah.
And I'll
that's how
say
I
this.
treated it, you know.
Well, absolutely. And I think I mean, I was there for that period too. I came a little bit later, but Starbucks has come up a lot on the show, especially like when Silas was in here and stuff, because we both worked there together. One thing I've always said about Starbucks is starting out especially, they actually do make an effort to get you interested in coffee. Like, remember, they would do the whole tasting charts and all the things. Now, 90% of baristas, including myself, don't actually care or do the passport or
dude,
any of
you're
that.
just like, dude, I get paid 2 hours to watch someone else brew coffee for me. Sign me up.
Exactly.
I need to do that right now.
Yeah, I'm not actually going to taste all the hints and tell you where everything's from on a map. But the opportunity is there if you want to grow that passion.
I would like, okay, so big Starbucks. When I was like 12, they built a Starbucks next to our church growing up, and then that was like the biggest thing to come to New Mexico.
Sure.
Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, we have a Starbucks!" Right?
Sure.
So we would go after Sunday, or for Sunday school, we'd go, and I'd get like caramel macchiato because that's what my parents would get. I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure." I drink real coffee now, you know,
Macchiato,
macchiato, yeah, I know.
men's coffee.
Men only drink caramel macchiatos, and while I'm doing that, like that was my introduction, and the people there, they were like, "Oh, we're the first Starbucks here in Las Cruces," so. They were over to the top of like, let's learn about coffee, let's do tastings, let's do all that. And so I grew up in the I don't know,
like the first wave,
the peak of Starbucks caring, you know?
Oh, sure.
You'd get in the drive-thru and it'd be like 30 minutes because they're talking to people and brewing things, and it wasn't a rush to get people out of there. Like, it was a special experience to go to Starbucks
before they spread too thin.
Yeah, and then they spread too thin, and they're like, hey, we don't have time.
It's kind of like going to the first McDonald's.
Yeah,
where you're like, this is great. I hope they never ruin it.
Yeah. Wow, they're so personable, and they know my name.
You know what really ruined it? If they put one everywhere. That would bring down the quality. Well, you know, that's why you've lived here a long time, but that's kind of, my understanding is that's the thought behind Pals as well. If you're listening from anywhere else, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Pals is like a local institution. It's
a burger chain, but
burgers, hot dogs, fries.
So good.
It's so good, and it's
fast.
It's very fast, and it's locals love it. But that's from what I understand, that was kind of Pal's whole thing with the business, is like we'll spread around the region, but if you start to go bigger, you can't do as much quality control. Right. And he was like super intense about. I had a friend in high school who was an assistant manager there. Oh, nice. And he said that at the time, this was before the founder Pal passed away, but he would come to the store and like he was like, it is like all hands on deck. Everybody freaks out when he comes in. And one thing I remember him saying is he would take a rubber glove and put his finger up into the soda nozzle and move it around, and if there's syrup on the tip of his finger, that's -1 point.
Oh my gosh,
that's intense.
That is intense, because that's scary.
That's like every time you get soda, it does that.
Yeah. And he's checking for things that it's not like, oh, this is dirty for months, we're gonna check it. It's like, this was dirty 30 seconds ago.
Absolutely.
You didn't take care of it.
Between every car, they're cleaning the whole building pretty much. It's an intense place to work, but because of that,
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's so amazing.
And the support for it is there. Starbucks used to the
have
same
that.
way.
I don't know if you want history of Starbucks.
I mean,
it's
you
not
give
like
me
they
whatever you
like
want. We got
drilled
time.
it into our head. So like there's the original 3 founders who I used to care about, and I can't remember any of them except Ziegler. I'm so sorry to the other 2. And then Howard Schultz.
They're
going to
hear this.
They're going to hear it because they're definitely still alive. Then Howard Schultz buys out, and he runs the greatest coffee company to just sweep the nation.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's still Dutch Bros, there's Einstein Bagels, but he takes the coffee craft and core, and he sees the Mastrena and what they're doing in Italy with lattes, and he's like, everyone in America needs to have this.
Yeah.
He brands it into this amazing company, throws it all in the United States.
Almost synonymous with like the phrase "let's get coffee." In America, you just assume
because I mean, if we go out to Washington, you have other choices. You've got Caribou, and you've got other ways to like fast coffee in and out. And I know we got other ones like Seven Brew and Scooters showing up around here.
Seven Brew's great.
Yeah, it's good, quick, fast coffee. You know, to give people run for their money. But in general, anywhere you are, you can be like, oh, you don't have scooters? We can go to Starbucks. Or, oh, you don't have Dutch Bros? We can go to Starbucks. Like, it's not the, oh, it's a fallback. It's just, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
You know?
It's kind of, it's akin, I think, to McDonald's, where it's like, oh, what's on this exit? God, just a McDonald's? Okay, well, there's nothing else. So it's like, for me, that's the same mentality. Now, that only comes after years of working at Starbucks and getting totally burnt out. Like, had I not been a barista there, I probably would still think it's great.
If I wasn't doing my own coffee shop, I would also probably think the same thing.
It's just perspective.
But we're not going to get political. 2008.
Oh no, we
are.
No. Oh, we are. We're going deep.
No. 2018. Howard Schultz may or may not have made a decision on how to handle a situation that made him lose his CEO status, and Kevin Johnson took over. And when that happened, it went from like, let's care about our customers and spend time with people and not worry about drive-through times and worry about experience, to let's push as many people out the door as possible to make funds and just turn people over. Right. So like drive-through times with Howard Schultz, because this used to matter to us.
Oh yeah. But I remember.
Drive-through times under Howard Schultz, they're like 3 minutes of the window is too long. Like if you can just get them under 3 minutes, you're good. Howard Schultz instant 2018, Kevin Johnson takes over and he's like 50 seconds is too long.
Oh yeah.
And so
ours was like 30 seconds.
Yeah, we were fast. We were so fast.
Certain shifts. Independent.
Maybe we had too fun.
But you also built, and I do, what I actually really want to dive into about the whole Starbucks thing is the experience of working under you as a manager. Because when Silas was in here, I talked about what it was like working with him, and you know this as much as I do. Silas is beloved by anybody who ever worked with him. He
did things that made me nervous as a store manager of like, this guy's going to take my job. Yeah. And I'm like, and I'm not upset about it. Yeah. I'm just confused at that.
Game like recognizes game.
He's so good. He's so good at everything he does. It's crazy.
Yeah, he really is. But the thing with you, and it's funny that you bring up the drive-through, like peak times is what we. If you've ever worked in a drive-through, I'm sure it's similar to other. Yeah,
I'm sure Taco Bell doesn't want us spending 8 minutes at the window.
It's all like, how do we get them from order point to handoff and gone under a certain amount of time? It's all just revenue or whatever. But at least during the pandemic, which we'll also get into, the period that I worked there, it was peak times were forced from corporate in a way that really didn't incentivize customer connection or any of that.
And maybe that's the district manager. Maybe that's the regional manager. Right. I'm not going to drop names.
I'll drop them. I know
you know who they are. I know you don't like them. I know that I will be impartial because they haven't heard from me in 5 years.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to go into the whole. Well, we'll touch on.
We'll see what happens. It was wild that the only metric they cared about was how fast was your drive-through times. And if you weren't meeting that, they don't care about you.
Yeah, and well, you mentioned like you're not sure what level it's coming from. I think that is true, but I can say without a doubt that I and most of the staff were very aware of what level it was being deflected, and that was you. And that you very much conveyed to us not only like customer connections, but employee connections, camaraderie, like actual leadership as opposed to just barking orders. And like that at the time, I don't think that I was aware how rare that was in a boss or a leader. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't know.
To carry on what you're saying, and I hate bragging about myself. And I don't, but I also think this is what you're...
That's not true. You do it all the time.
Yeah, sorry, you're right.
Sometimes I can't get you to stop.
Honestly, people stop coming to the cafe because when they walk in, I go, look at what I'm doing! Aren't I great? You know, and I want that so bad.
Also, I keep meaning to tell you, you'd have a lot more room for seating in there if you take that shrine to yourself out of the lobby.
But it's made of pure gold.
It's pure gold. Yeah.
Maybe if I dim some of the lighting around
That's the whole first year's profits gone. right into
And
that gold statue.
I'm going through my accounting
It's
log
this big.
with my tax lady, and she's like, you need to stop spending money on some things. And I'm like, well, let's go over the budget. It's like milk budget, beans budget. There's this employee salaries.
Gotta
it's
have
like
it.
24 karat Bronson statue. And she's like, can we get rid of that one? I'm like, no.
These are
we
priorities.
cannot. This is actually has to stay.
We'll fire 3 baristas to make room
Yeah,
for
we
it.
don't need them.
Yeah.
No, if I learned anything from being, yeah, let's make a switch. Being your manager, being other people's managers, I think I could say Alexis.
Yeah, sure.
As she was my first assistant manager that I trained and hired and got promoted to take over her own store in Kentucky. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But she taught me how to be a better leader.
Right.
Because I kind of just went from being a shift to an assistant manager, and then all of a sudden I was owning the store I was already working in. That is a wild trip.
Right, because a lot of them were your coworkers, and now they're subordinate.
Right.
And that's a weird shift.
And when we're working together, they're like, you're going to be the store manager, and you're going to fire people and get people in trouble. It's going to be awesome because you're going to hold people accountable.
Right.
And then I got to store leader, and store manager, and I start firing people, and they're like, what are you doing? That was my best friend. And I'm like, well, they were late every single day and lied about being sick.
It's also tough. Like, you're such a likable and genuine person that, and Silas and I touched on this too, shifting back and forth between like, I'm everybody's friend and I'm also the discipline in the room.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough.
It is very
It's very difficult. And I know it is for you, obviously, because that's just not who you are. You don't want to upset
And like my
anybody.
first whole year, though, they'd be like, oh, he's the fakest person in the world. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not fake.
Well, that is true. Yeah.
Well, I'm like, I'm not fake. I genuinely care. And
Right.
they're like, yeah, but you can't care about everyone here. I'm like, no, I do. And it wasn't until like a year later that they're like, oh, yeah, he does just genuinely care about us.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Do you think, and this is, I'm going to let you in, this is not speculation or projection. Do
Yeah.
you think at any point your care for the employee, attention to things like customer connection or anything, did that ever get in the way or take away from your relationship with corporate as far as like their view of a manager?
Yeah.
Because if you're so hyper focused on your people, you don't really care about the numbers or the data and the
Right. So like the first 2 years, they were really like pushing the numbers or whatever. But I couldn't meet them. Like I couldn't get my team on board to meet them.
Sure.
Sure. And I was like, well, if it's just a job to them, I can't help there.
Exactly.
Starbucks was a great job. I don't know if it is anymore, but it was a great job for someone to go from high school to college and then college to find their career path.
Yeah.
And so like finding a way to retain people and have them care about something that doesn't matter to them was a really difficult task.
And something that can't support them. Like I quit the day I graduated college. That's the typical move, because at that point it's like I have a degree in something.
I'm going to go pursue my dream.
I'm going to pursue this and just make money that I can support myself on. Whereas like Starbucks, there's only so many hours as a barista, and the pay can't be that good when you have 20 billion employees across the country. Like, it's,
Honestly, I switched my focus from you need to care about these metrics because I care about these metrics to what do you care about and how can I help you reach that goal?
Yes.
Right? So with you were doing animation and going to school and I was like, okay, let's get your hours set to where you can work here comfortably and have fun with whatever schedule you need so you can pursue the dreams you want to pursue, which you know is animation through Pixar.
It was a lot, but I did do it.
You did do it. But even this girl named Hannah, we don't say last names?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
Hannah Kennedy wanted to be a nurse. She was awesome at her job, but I know Starbucks wasn't her home. So in each like training thing, or if we were talking, or I'd be like, hey, you're going to be dealing with jerks all the time. You are, if you want to be a nurse, this is the greatest prep zone for you.
It really is.
Because you're going to be dealing with some really sucky people.
Yeah,
and if
especially
you can
through
learn,
the pandemic. I mean, that's the period where it's kind of you're stepping into this role, you're growing, you're learning, and then literally like right about the time you're confident as a manager, the pandemic hits.
Yes, it does.
And the top down, I'm sure a lot of it was filtered through you, but top down to us got so like chaotic and just it seemed that every day there was a different change and a different approach and a different rule and a different. I mean, at one point we had an employee who her job was to set timers for every 10 minutes. And when that timer would go off, we had to wash our hands. And this went on for weeks. I mean, my hands were down to I've never been so clean. It was so aggressive. And then I think, I don't know. It's all hindsight now. I feel that some of their corporate politics started to seep into some of these regulations, and there was a forced mandate for vaccine at one point.
There was, and then there was backlash. So then they took that away,
right?
And then they're like, "No, you've got to get it, and
yes.
fire people that don't get it by Friday."
Right.
So I'm like, I don't want to do that.
I remember.
And then that Friday happens, and then they're like, "Did you fire people for not getting vaccinated?" I was like, "No," and they went, "Okay, I guess we'll talk to you next week." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll see you next week." It was so weird
because I remember you saying I could have let like half my team go.
Yeah,
I should have.
Rebecca,
based
Jordan,
on me,
you, I know
a lot of us would have been gone, and then to not uphold that or to switch it last minute or whatever. I mean, who knows how many baristas across the country were fired for that?
Right.
Only to have that rule not actually be enforced.
Or matter.
And
then they were like, if you're vaccinated, you can take off the mask while you're at work.
Right.
And then it's like, well, how do I prove who's vaccinated? And they're like, ask them. And so I asked everybody, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, duh, I'm vaccinated.
Dude, I'm on 4 boosters.
Yeah, so everyone's now working without masks. And then the regional manager comes in, they're like, wow, your whole team's vaccinated? I was like, that's what they say.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, that doesn't work. I went, no, I guess not. Are you not going to trust the baristas? And she goes, no, put all the masks back on. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell them? Because if I tell them, they're going to crucify me.
There was so much back and forth with it. I mean, I even remember we had like a corporate team meeting or something. And this is so funny to talk about now.
Is it the mandatory meditation that we had to do?
No, but
do you remember that?
Good Lord, do I? We'll go deep. There was a meeting where it was basically like, look, there's this virus. Because at the time, this is probably March of 2020.
So my wife and I got married in March 10th, right?
Okay.
And then
I started January 1st, 2020. No, I also want to point that out.
I know. I
got 2 months without all this nonsense.
We've been married 3 years.
Yeah.
And so we go on a little anniversary trip.
Sure.
And we're like, we're going to leave our phones away. We're going to Chattanooga. No one can contact us. Right. I've got people watching my store.
Exotic.
Let's just get away. Yeah, it's so exotic. We're looking at aquariums.
Monkeys.
We're getting ice cream.
Sure. Things you can't do here.
No. Coffee shops.
Right.
Milk and Honey in Chattanooga is the best cafe they have out there.
I don't know. Rembrandt's is pretty good.
Oh, I didn't go to Rembrandt's.
That's where the espresso you're drinking came from.
Okay, well, that is really good, actually.
Touché.
Dang. Anyway, so we're out there, and like every morning, a newspaper hits our like hotel bedroom, and I get it and I read it because it's my only connection with the outside world. And it's like, big virus strikes America. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're getting the tabloids in this hotel. Yeah. That's weird. And then every day on this vacation, it's getting weirder, and I'm like, we should go look at our phones. And we look at our phone, and I've got missed texts and calls from like my district manager and from my family. And they're like, you need to come home. And on the drive home, we're like, should we stop at Walmart and like do something? And we pulled in and people are like rushing the Chattanooga Walmart with all these bottles of water and toilet paper. I was like, what is happening? It was like that scene in World War Z with Brad Pitt going and his kids need the asthma medication, you know? It was like that.
It felt like doomsday.
Happening? It was so scary.
Yeah.
And then
for a couple of weeks, it felt that way.
Yeah, I come home and Starbucks they're like, emergency meeting, all store managers. Yeah. 2 hours. So we get there and they're like, hey, we don't know what's going on. We may shut down in a week. We don't know what that looks like. Don't tell your baristas. I'm like, okay, you know? And
keep that little secret.
Right?
Sleep tonight.
Sleep, go, don't worry. And then Monday morning, they're like, in 3 days, we're going to close. Don't tell the baristas. I was like, okay. So I start telling my shifts because I got to tell somebody. Yeah. I'm going to blow up.
You got to get this off your chest.
And I'm telling Rebecca, I'm telling Carolyn, and I'm like, hey, we might be shutting down. I don't know what that means, but you can't tell baristas, and neither can I. And then by Wednesday, we get a phone call.
Everybody knows.
Everyone knows. And I'm like, oh no, I'm in so much trouble. And
I know the leak. I know the leak.
Yeah. I see the district manager calling, and I answer. I'm like, hello? And he goes, everyone in the nation knows Starbucks is shutting down. Yeah. Deep clean your store. And I was like, what does this mean? He goes, you'll find out Monday. And so I'm calling every barista, and I call Nathaniel. I'm like, hey, don't come into work today. Yep. Just stay home until further notice. Bye.
Yep. And so my memory's a little hazy. You may remember more than me. There's at least 2 separate periods of closure, right? Because we're closed for a short time. We come back, and then the longer stretch was it over 2 months?
We were gone. If it started in
9
March,
weeks or something, maybe.
We were gone from April 1st until August 1st.
Right.
Other
the
stores,
whole summer.
the whole summer.
Yeah.
Other stores could open sooner if they wanted. I know Kingsport opened in July.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to go work and felt safe to work, you could go work in July. And then if you didn't feel safe, you could
Some
wait until
people
August.
from our store were also going to the other stores that were open.
Right.
To where I do remember
Hudson
that.
went. Sarah Diaz went.
Yes.
Lots of, but also they were aspiring store managers. They wanted to be an assistant manager, and they went, I can get a leg up on the competition, showing them I'm not afraid to work.
And both of them did go on to do exactly that.
They did, yeah.
They both had their own store within a year. Yeah.
I don't want to brag again. I had the
feels
most.
like you do.
I was the youngest store manager at Starbucks for a while,
Right.
And then I promoted the youngest store manager, Alexis. She actually took that title from me. Congratulations to her. And then I also got 7 other people promoted from barista to store manager, set them on their own paths.
Yeah.
And then it was in the middle of the
And
last.
now none of them, including yourself, work for the
none
company.
of us except one. Will still works. I'm pretty sure
He does.
He's rocking that Parkway store.
Just saw him the other day.
Yep,
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, well, so what's interesting about that whole time period is that through all of this, I assume that your dream of owning your own store is still like on some back burner in the back. I mean, obviously, you're trying to be present and navigate these challenges.
I want to own my own place, but I can't let all these people down.
Right.
And I'm just as scared as they are.
Yeah.
But I can try to create a little bit of consistency.
Sure.
So every Monday and Wednesday, I'd call you guys. I wrote a list of all my baristas. There's like 35 of us, and from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'd call and talk to everyone for like 30 minutes, an hour, whatever they needed.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? How's the pandemic? Are you scared?
Now, I'll say this. Up until this moment, I thought that was just me, and I'm a little heartbroken.
No! Well, we did talk longer than everybody else. We talked a long time.
Yeah, we talked a long time.
You're like, I think I'm learning guitar right now. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I call someone else and they're like, I'm baking bread. I'm like, everyone's baking bread. Get a cool hobby.
That is kind of nice that you. Well, no, but that was that a corporate suggestion or was that your own personal?
No, corporate was like, don't worry about them. They're fine. They're getting paid. See, don't check on them.
That's one of the. We could honestly do 4 hours on examples of what I'm talking about. But to work under a person who says I'm gonna do this in spite of whatever is coming from the top down, that especially during a period as scary and traumatic and chaotic as what we're talking about with the pandemic, there was a weird comfort in it. I think that like in the midst of all this, it did feel like at least someone has our best interest in mind or has our back.
Everyone's like, oh, my work is family, and oh, it's like
right.
I wasn't trying to aim for that, but you guys were like, I'm your same age, so it's hard. It's like these are my kids.
Yeah.
And some of you are like 48, John Hill.
Right. Yeah.
Some of them, Zach. And I'm like calling these people that are twice my age at the time, and I'm like, hey, buddy, are you okay? I just want to make sure you're feeling all right. And can I DoorDash you food? And Starbucks didn't care that I did that. They're like, you're putting in too much effort on these people that are going to quit when the stores open.
Right. And I do want, for once, we're going to move on from Starbucks because I don't want to spend the whole episode promoting them.
No.
But what I do want to say is that during that same period, I suffered 2 very difficult losses. One in particular, but also, and for some reason, I mean, I recall that period in my life is so hazy, to be honest with you, that I don't.
You went through a lot of trauma.
I went through a lot, and I don't remember the super ins and outs of it. I do know that shortly after losing my grandfather, while I was employed under you, that you were, well, for one, you were at his funeral, which I do remember, and so was Hudson, and that meant a lot to me. But so then that happens, and then I get this harebrained idea to go in the van. And if you're curious, there's a whole solo episode where I tell the whole story.
There is, and it's awesome.
No, it's not. But
no, it is.
It's so bad.
You route 66 the whole thing. It's
so bad.
sick.
But you can go see the videos and all the stuff on my page. But I get this idea, and I would assume that just about any other manager would be like, "That's great, have fun." Have a nice life.
Yeah,
but instead you give me this weird grace period where I know I was still employed by Starbucks.
You were.
For the 2 months I was gone.
They hated that I did that,
I'm
by the way.
sure they
were so
did.
mad.
I'm sure they did. Now, I didn't get payment for it or anything.
You got, I stretched your bereavement as long as I could. I got
and then
you 2
I
weeks of
combined
pay.
like time off and everything I could. Yeah.
They can't. I'm already fired. Dude,
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you're not allowed to use sick time for this. You're not allowed to use whatever. I literally gave you 2 weeks of bereavement. Then I started burning your vacation, and then I started burning your sick time for you because
it was like 5 weeks.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It was a long time.
And it wouldn't have been that long if you didn't run into your thing breaking down, your van breaking down. The heat of the West tried to kill you.
That's correct.
There was that guy on the scooter that almost broke into your van. man.
Guy on the scooter. There's a lot, but during that time, I'm going and I'm doing that, and then you held my job for me. But and that, like, coming home to the job obviously was a huge relief knowing that it's there. But what honestly was even more beneficial is that during the pandemic they kept changing all the rules. But for that 5-week period when I was, or 6 weeks, whatever, that I was on the road, they had this rule that you could get one free drink item and food item at any Starbucks in the country as long as you're a barista once a day. The problem was there's no communication between stores. I had 3, 4, 5 meals and drinks a day. I've been to every Starbucks in the nation. And at one point, I think you even said, like, just so you know, if there ever is some kind of catch where they pull that number and see, like,
it's gonna be,
this dude somehow had 40 free drinks in the last 10 days. At all over the country. And I was like, honestly, we could just lie and be like, it's not me, I've been hacked.
Someone stole your number.
How am I in Albuquerque and Louisiana a week apart? There's no way that's possible.
All I know is when you came back, I was like, "Oh, dude, we got the new egg bites are in. You want to try some egg bites?" You're like, "I have been eating egg bites for 3 weeks. Please."
I've had them. I've had them.
I ran out of money in Vegas. I have been living off of egg bites in the back of my van.
100%. It really paid off. But so then, you know, that's the personal aside, and I have plenty of other stories too. But there's things that you did for me directly, and then all your baristas. And I think by that point, I'm sure the first, like, starting out, you mentioned the first 2 years are kind of rough, and you're finding your lane. By that point, there's a lot of support for you. Maybe not 100%, but there never is.
I went from these people hate me, and I'm keeping standard and order to people are crying when they leave. Like, they were like, my plan was to be here and then go to college, or my plan was I'm now moving to go follow my dream, and I don't want to leave this Starbucks. You know?
Well, it became a very, like, a family dynamic, I think. And then, I mean, there's a series of unfortunate events that we'll maybe just skip over. Just for fine. Let's just put it this way: it's complete utter nonsense, like just a whirlwind of nonsense and unfortunate events.
I've never been fired from a job before, and I've also
until
Starbucks. I've also never been in trouble before. Like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, like, I've never done anything that corporate comes in and like, hey buddy, we got to talk to you, or like, oh hey, HR is here, you've said something, or like whatever.
Well, I do want to preface that too. It's not anything. There's no foul play involved. Nothing bad. It's corporate politics, basically.
Yeah, I played on the wrong corporate team. I met some high-end people in Seattle. I was getting some job offers to do barista training up in Starbucks headquarters. And that may have angered some people that were above me that had been working there longer. I totally get it.
Going around them.
Yes.
And so they
didn't want to help me, though. So my only option was to go around them. And that is insubordination. Or how they wrote it, not within the character and integrity of a Starbucks employee, which I got on my final written notice when I had never been in trouble before.
Cool.
Very cool.
It's pretty cool that you went from, like, their prized, like, he's our youngest and brightest
brightest store manager. They were giving me shout outs on, like, nationwide calls of, like, this Pinnacle store is, like, fastest times, best employee retention, most profit earned in a 5-year business.
He's not with us.
And they're like, it's so weird. He disappeared. We don't know where that guy went.
Have you ever seen, so this is a little bit of a sidebar. Have you ever seen when Norm was fired from SNL?
Yes.
So Norm Macdonald, if anyone doesn't know, is a comedian. He gets fired from Saturday Night Live because he won't stop making O.J. Simpson jokes. And the CEO of NBC at the time was very close personal friends with O.J. Literally directly said to Norm, if you don't stop making these O.J. jokes, I'm going to fire you. So then they fire him. Cut to, I think, a year and a half later, Norm is very successful on his own. They invite him back to host it.
Immediately.
His monologue is so funny. But his first line is like, I was very confused when they asked me to do this because when they fired me, they told me I wasn't funny. And he's like, he says, like, don't tell me I'm fired. And they're like, you're fired because you're not funny. And he's like, oh, that's even worse. I'm not funny. And he's like, but then I started thinking, why is it that they're asking me to come back and host the show if I'm not funny? And he goes, maybe I got funny again. And then he goes, then it occurred to me, I didn't get funny again. The show got worse.
Nice.
That's literally your situation where they went like, yeah, you're the best. And then they're like, oh, he's the worst, fire him. And you're like, I thought I was I'm confused.
I know. I've raised a 10-store generation in 3 years, and I'm gone. Anyways, it was a big mess. And what I do want to talk about is the moment that I have very deeply ingrained in my memory is it all went about in such a rapid, like, sudden, jarring way. Literally, someone walked in from corporate and you walked out and you just said, bye guys. And we were all like,
what? Like it made no sense that there was
they
a
told
lot.
me I wasn't allowed to talk to you guys. Right. So they were worried I was going to install a rebellion.
Which is hilarious because they can't do that. But you're a rule follower, so you did.
I am. Clearly. I've never broken a rule before.
Until you got in the car, and then as I left the store, like 30 minutes later or something, you call me, and you're giving me the whole spiel.
You're my... Yeah.
You dumped it all on.
I was like, who can I trust?
Yeah.
I need to call Nathaniel.
But then there's that
My
moment.
boy.
And I remember that moment so clearly, I think because I have been there many times in my own life where you're sitting there and you go, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
What, like, there's no amount of consolation from me, or I'm sure even maybe Sydney at the time, or anybody close to you that would make you feel secure in that moment. Because you're like, basically my whole identity, my livelihood, all of it's gone.
I lost everything.
And I don't know why, and it's so rapid and all these things and all this confusion. Then jump to now.
Yeah.
How crazy is that chunk of time?
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I'm going to say this. I am on new medication.
Okay. All right.
I am not going to cry.
Okay.
But if I do, I'm blaming the medication.
Cry.
No, I'm
I
not
don't
going to
care.
cry.
No, I cry on the show sometimes.
Do you really?
I have, I think, at least once before.
Okay. I haven't watched them. I've just listened to them.
I think I've cried at least once before.
Okay. Well, like...
I get to the point of making other people cry every
That's
episode.
good.
I'm
No.
depressing all the time.
Yeah, well...
I mean, that's just
natural.
Yeah.
You talk about your childhood, and we're like, oh my God,
100%.
how is this guy still alive? Like,
Yeah. When I did the solo episode, that was the number one feedback. Was like, why is this so sad?
You're that's why you wore the sunglasses, right? So people
100%.
couldn't see the tears
Couldn't
coming
see
down.
them. Yeah.
No, it's crazy. So one thing I do want to give a shout out to is Rebecca. We called her
You
Trisket.
can just say first name. That's fine.
Oh, I can do
fine.
first names.
Yeah,
now?
Rebecca's fine.
Okay, but Becca and Nathaniel, when we got closer to each other, we're working at Starbucks. They'd be used to be like, so what are your dreams? I'm like, oh, I want to be a lawyer, a professional musician, and I wanted to own a coffee shop. And they're like, oh, so which of those are you doing? I'm like, I own a coffee shop. And you two would both go, you don't own a coffee shop.
Yeah.
You work at a Starbucks. You manage a coffee shop, but you
Right.
don't own your own. And
But
I
in a
used
way,
to-
you did.
In a way, I did.
Now that you're in a position where you actually do own that dream store,
Yeah.
can you look back and go, oh yeah, that kind of was all just gearing me up, getting me ready.
100%.
Right.
100%. Because
Life kind of has a way of doing that.
Yeah, like now I when we opened, and God, that was a process.
Right,
you know?
right.
I had to trick banks into thinking I had money, and then I had to trick banks into letting them think I was going to make more money. Like
right. They're like, why should we invest in this coffee shop? And you're like,
I'm good at it. And they're
hey Siri.
yeah.
If only ChatGPT was popping back.
And
then.
everyone keeps saying like, oh, opening a business is so hard. It's opening so hard. And I'm like, yeah, it really is. And then they're like, running it so hard. I'm like, oh yeah, running it is hard. And then the first 6 months of running the business, I'm like, this isn't hard.
Really?
No, I've got to get there. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm like, this isn't tough because I have the funding still.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to do the order. I know how to do the placement. I know how to build schedules.
Right.
I know what the profit and loss needs to look like. I know how to build something. I know I need 50 customers per day buying on average this drink to make this amount of money.
Right.
Like
All the fine print.
all the fine print.
Yeah.
That's not hard. I've done that for 5 years. You know what's hard?
Sure.
It's getting people to show up and buy the coffee. I can say I need 50 people a day, but if I have 30 people one day, I better have 70 people the next
Right.
day or I can't keep this thing going.
Right.
And that's really scary. That's horrifying.
Well, especially when it's
time-
your business, because it's not like if Starbucks loses money,
Yeah,
you
no big
don't
deal.
lose money.
That's the next part is like then
You
the
could lose your whole house.
yeah the funds start running a little dry.
Sure.
I can't take out any more loans. I have my life savings, all my stock investments, everything is in this business. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I need 4 things of vanilla, 2 things of chocolate, 2 things of white mocha. I put it in my ordering system and I'm like, oh no, I can afford 1 thing of vanilla, 1 thing of chocolate. Let's do that.
You're
And
that
just
low where it's like
where I am like, I need this, but what can I get away with?
Yeah.
And that's terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Right.
horrifying.
Because at that point, it's like, well, even if we do have this magical godsend rush where everyone comes in and saves us, I
one
actually
day.
don't have the product
Right.
to give them.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, okay,
I
someone's
can't
coming
take
in
advantage
and
of
they're
it.
like, I need 7 mochas. I'm like, okay, we have enough chocolate to make 7 mochas.
Right.
And then the next person comes in and is like, I need 3 mochas and 2 French vanillas. I'm like, how about 1 mocha? Can we do 1 mocha?
Just hit
a
them with
French
the
vanilla?
Uno reverse
Yeah,
card.
I was like, have you ever had a cinnamon dulce before? Like, I think you look like a cinnamon dulce person.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
That's how long? Rough estimate. How many weeks at a time is that level of skating by going on? Weeks, months, years, days.
So after our first, we opened in January 31st.
Okay.
Or July 31st of 2023.
Right.
And from October to December, we were gonna make it, and everything was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then January through March, it was every week.
It gets bad.
I didn't know. So
So 3 months of you sitting there going, "Are we gonna lose everything?"
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I'm not there as much as I would like to be, but I'm there periodically. At least I'd say at least once every month or so. I'm there, and sometimes more than others. But over my time going there, since at first, I don't know if I was at the grand opening, but since the very beginning, I've been there a lot.
I was so excited to see you.
Been there a lot, and I've seen this change not only in the business. Obviously, you see more people or less people on certain days or whatever, but I've noticed a change coming from the backside of the counter too, which is only, I assume, indicative of the fact that it is okay now. Things are okay. You're in a better place.
Yes.
And that alleviates and allows you to be more of who you are. Because when that weight of all that is on you,
it's so much pressure.
You can't really be this bubbly, I love everybody kind of guy, because you're like, I'm about to lose my car. Right?
I'm about to
towing
lose
my
house.
car outside. Right.
Yeah, man. It's wild. And I try to put on this facade, and some people can see through it, like you.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, but people who know you.
Yeah. But sometimes people would come in and they'd be like, "How are things?" I'm like, "They're great. Everything's fine. You don't need to worry about it. Would you like me to do a flight for you today so we can taste these coffees? I can tell you what these notes and single origins are from."
Can I interest you in the most expensive item we have to sell?
Yeah. How does that sound? And they'd be like, "So it's not going good." I'm like, "No, it's fine. It's great. Please order something."
Right, because if you, that's just bad leadership. If you tell your customers, "We're sinking,
buy
coffee, we're sinking," it's not good.
Don't you want me here?
Yeah, it's not good. There's there's a Chappelle bit that it makes me laugh so hard because it was literally my whole childhood. But he's talking about being a dad and times when he was short on money, and he's like, "I never would go to my son and be like, I'm gonna be honest, son, we're having a tough time making rent this month." He's like, "That's just bad leadership. They're just gonna panic." And I mean, it's the same thing. Like you call it a facade, I just call it business. I think that's really what it is. Fake it till you make it.
You do fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And that's just it's crazy. And people say that, and you're like, "Oh, it's just a mannerism."
Sure.
But then you're
living
living it, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, Some people are like, "How did you do this? I don't know how you did this." And I'm like, "Honestly, dude, I have no idea how I did it either. I just kept waking up and making things happen." Now, I definitely looked at like 3 different locations, and all of them shut down. I had money to buy a coffee shop in Gate City, actually. And it was between me and one other person, and the guy that owned it died. And so it was no longer his decision, it was his family's decision. And they didn't choose me because I didn't live in Gate City.
But this is after you already have your current location?
This is before. Like us hunting around. And then I find a spot, and it's this, who's my current landlord. And I'm like, "Hey, I want to go in here, open a coffee shop."
Yeah.
He's like food? I'm like, "No, just coffee. Like, we'll do desserts and stuff, but like just coffee." He goes, "So not a restaurant?" I was like, "No, a cafe." He goes, "Okay, well, here's one building." I'm like, "Well, no, I need both buildings." He's like, "Why?" I was like, "This is going to be big. Everyone's going to be here. And the biggest problem is going to a coffee shop, and then there's not enough room to sit down. That sucks."
Are you aware of how delusional it sounds as you're pitching it to this guy?
Oh, no, I know that this guy
thinks
I'm insane. He thinks I'm crazy.
Right.
And I'm like, "I promise."
And rightfully so.
No, he shouldn't. He should not have given me this property. He should not have done it.
But he did.
And then he's like, "Well, who's going to do the interior?" I'm like, "Oh, I did construction out of high school. I'm going to do the interior."
Sure.
And he's like, "Okay. Do you need help with that?" I'm like, "No. I don't want." He's like, "I've got guys for that." I'm like, "Nope. I can't afford them. I'm going to do it all by my hand." He just, everything I said was more of the wildest stuff ever.
Right.
And I remember 2 weeks go by and I haven't heard from him. And I call him and I'm like, "Hey, Dave, what's going on, man? Are we going to move forward?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "This is the worst financial decision I would ever have to make to move forward with you." And I went, "Okay, so you're not going to do it?" And he goes, "No, I'm going to do it, but this is the worst financial decision I've ever made."
I just want you to know I don't believe you at all.
And he didn't. He does now.
Again, rightfully so at the time.
Rightfully so. No.
Yeah.
He came to me in January after Christmas, and he came in. He's like, "Where's my rent check?" And I went, "Oh, it's I got it right here." And he's like, "Oh, come in the other room with me," which it's his building, but I've set up other rooms.
Right.
And he pulls me in there, and he takes the check from me. And he goes, "You're not going to be open another 3 months." I was like, okay.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, and he's like, see you later. And he's like, I need rent, next month. And just leaves. I was like, I'm going to go home and cry my eyes out, I think, actually. And, now we're paying rent. I mean, we all pay it on time. But now it's like every month we have it, and we're mailing it to him, and he doesn't have to check on us anymore.
Yeah.
And this last time, he, actually, we've been there 2 years. Just our 2-year anniversary.
Right.
And when I went and took him his check, he, shook my hand and patted me on the shoulder. I'm like, I made it? Did I do it?
Dad.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, I don't have a good father figure. But
yeah, you do now.
I do now.
Well, so, I mean, obviously there's a huge chunk of time between, let's say, January to March of that first year to now.
Oh, yeah.
And there's ebbs and flows. And who knows? I mean, I would hate for you to sit here and tell me how good business is going, and then, God forbid, in the next few weeks it curves down for you or whatever.
No.
But over that chunk of time, is there any 1 or 2 indicators that you think actually made the difference? I would imagine a lot of it is just word of mouth.
It's mainly word of mouth.
Because
and customer retention.
Right.
So
you've also built a very loyal fan base and a very committed group of customers.
Yeah, we have people that are there every day, sometimes 3 to 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I know their names. We've got Anna, Brian, James. Yeah. James and Cammie were some of our first customers.
You were always good about that, even at Starbucks. You knew every person's.
Yeah, and what's wild is now I'll have...
And their order.
Yeah, I'll have Starbucks customers come by.
Oh, really?
And they'll be like, Bronson? And I'll be like, oh my gosh, what's up? And sometimes I remember their name,
Sure. Hey, you.
Yeah, well, sometimes Half Calf Jen. She's there every day.
Right.
Also, the girl who got the mocha frappuccino in the morning with no whipped cream. You know what I'm talking about. Double scoop of base. Yeah. She found me.
She's going to find this too, so be nice.
I am being nice. I saw her at La Coretta, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in a while. Right. You found my new store. And she goes, yeah, I don't drink those anymore. I'm now on a diet. I'm like, sure. that sucks, you know? But Jen comes by. Now she's got grandkids, so she brings her grandkids by all the time. And then... Amber and Steve come by.
That's so funny that you're just rattling off these names.
Yeah, because if they listen to the show, they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, he said my name!"
Right, but that's a tribute, I think, to the community that you have managed to build there. And let's be very clear about this. I think I just had a friend of mine on not too long ago. Her name's Allie, and she and her husband have opened 2 businesses in the downtown Johnson City area. They have a yoga studio, Saluna Sage. It's fantastic. And they just opened Johnson's Literary Depot, which is like a book depot. It's super. They're phenomenal. They just announced, actually, shout out to them. They just announced they're moving locations with the yoga studio. They're phenomenal. And she talked, at length about what it's like, not only to be business partners, but it's like after hours, I'm also your wife now. Yeah. I have to shift, almost code switch between we own this business to that. So talk to me about that. I adore Skidney. I love your wife. Your wife is fantastic.
She's amazing.
And one of the best laughs in the business.
Yes.
Fantastic snort. Top tier snort. She's great.
She's beautiful and amazing.
Talk to me, absolutely. Talk to me about, I assume when you meet her somewhere along the way before you ever actually go down the road of owning this store, she's aware that that's your dream.
Yes.
But that's not necessarily her dream, right? Or it is?
Oh, man. I can't answer that for her. Mm-hmm. I can tell
she's coming in next week. We'll talk about it.
Oh, cool, cool. She can tell you that everything I said is a lie.
Absolutely. And that's what I like to do. I like to have fact checkers in here.
Yes.
That's why my mother was on to tell me I've been lying about my childhood my whole life.
Well, don't invite my mom. She doesn't know what happened.
Oh, she's coming on next.
No. Yeah. You're going to have a duo set between I know my mom loves you. A little too much.
A little too much.
Just like your mom loves me a little too much.
I was about to say, not quite as too much as mine likes you, but go ahead.
So when we met, I told her, I'm like, hey, I want to own a coffee shop one day. And, you're teenagers in high school or whatever. And it's like, I don't want to.
She's like, get real.
Yeah, get a real job.
Okay, Howard Schultz. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, especially her dad was like, he wants to do what for a living? Right. Are you sure you want to
Dude, imagine me talking to Haley's dad.
Yeah.
And being like, he's like, you're going to do what now?
Yeah, like stand-up comedy and podcast?
Are you familiar with inappropriate jokes? I'm gonna write those while I'm on the toilet, and then people are gonna pay me to say them.
Yeah, and they're gonna pay you a good amount.
It's getting better.
It's getting better.
No,
so honestly, during COVID, we had a lot of time to talk about Starbucks, and she saw me and how I was treating all my baristas, and she goes,
she also worked for Starbucks for a short period.
She did
at a different location
because she was a manager at Ulta. She went to school for cosmetology. When we were dating, I actually paid her to go through cosmetology school. I paid for her college, right? Because I believed in her and wanted her to follow her dreams. Yes. And then she gets to cosmetology, and women are mean. Like, you do hair?
Is that right?
Yeah,
Stop the press.
I'm using her words, not mine.
We're putting the word out.
Women are great.
mean.
I love women, but sometimes when you do their hair, if it's not the way they thought it was, they can complain and get a free refund.
That's true.
That sucks.
Yeah.
And then when you find out you can get free hairdos,
Right.
I mean,
All the time.
yeah, take advantage of Ulta while you can.
Honestly, I'm starting to question why I've ever paid for a haircut. Maybe I'll just start complaining every time
You
and
should
always
go
look
to
fresh.
Supercuts and be like, hey, actually, this is bad. I'm walking out.
I'll just tell you this: if you're into Supercuts, it's bad.
It is going to be.
That's just,
I haven't. Well, I've not got my hair cut since we got married because I literally married a professional,
right.
cosmetologist.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's a good haircut?
That's why I don't
place?
have to steal pills anymore. I'm dating a pharmacy school student.
You're right. All your drugs are
That's
right.
a joke,
right
folks.
over the counter.
I also
Do you need to cut that one? You want to write that down on your little
No,
paper?
but I do want to say very plainly, I'm going to be 100% transparent that prior to recording this, I took it upon myself to try and censor my accurate self. So if you're listening to this show...
It's very clean, this episode. It's so clean.
I want to put out a warning. If you've made it an hour in, I assume you're listening because you love Bronson, and you should. He's fantastic.
Aww.
You're not going to love the rest of the show. I'm just going to let you know.
You should check out other episodes.
You should. I'm just a little different.
There might be some fresher language
Sure.
on it.
Fresher, fouler, you name it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay, so she's like, maybe I want to work in coffee. I'm like, sure, why not? And so she starts working at Starbucks, and she falls in love with it. You know, she really loves the tea and the art,
which
and
is
the craft.
incredible due to she was falling in love in spite of the god-awful management at her location.
It was pretty rough.
You don't have to agree on camera if you want to. Awful human.
I
Just
won't
the
say
worst.
anything. I won't say anything.
You don't have to say it. I'll say it. The worst. The worst.
But yeah, well then we get a house, I get fired, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I spend about a year doing the stock
Oh,
market.
yeah. That's part of the story, too, is when cut back to that moment when you're getting fired and it's all up in the air. You had just closed on your first house.
Yeah, we had just bought our first house. My
And a
district
new car,
manager,
right?
And a new car. And my district manager wrote, like, congratulations on the new house. We're so proud of you. We love having you at Starbucks. And then 2 months later, they fired me. And I have all of these bills. And I'm like,
Right.
So Sydney starts working at Sports Clips because they're the only ones that will hire her in this like pre-COVID, post-COVID,
Still pandemic,
still weird.
Yeah.
And so she's working so I can be at home and like dream. So I become like a house husband. She's paying a majority of the bills. I'm paying everything off of my life savings, house and stuff and groceries. And then I get into the stock market. And some weeks I'm like, I'm the richest man
I remember
in the world.
those calls.
Yeah, I was calling him. I was like, dude, we gotta go to the stock market together.
Yeah.
I'm the richest man ever. Bills are for the weak.
Yeah.
Parking tickets are for the poor. I can do whatever I want. And then I call him the next day and be like, Nathaniel, I lost everything. I was like, I put it all in black and now
it was kind of like being friends with a gambling addict. It was
really
very akin to like, I'm never gonna die. I am invincible.
I am invincible.
The next day you're like, can I borrow $5?
If you've ever seen Tangled, the Disney movie, when Rapunzel gets out of the tower, in one scene she's like, best day of my life. And the next day she's like, I'm going to kill myself. Actual line from a Disney movie.
That's the shift.
That was it. Every week was
like that is the stock market.
It is. And that's, I just, learning to play it. I had studied it a lot in college. I got some degrees in some different things in business and mathematics and investing and all of that to be completely useless because during the pandemic, nothing makes sense.
No. It's all over the place.
Random strain, and I just bought a stock in Mad Cats for the controller knockoff brand, and then they go down to $2 and I just paid 30 seconds ago, and I'm like, why are you getting affected?
But at that time you're still thinking this is in pursuit of this
the coffee
dream.
shop. And I think if I can just make enough money I can do it. And then right around October of 2022, my wife and I, we go on a little vacation with the last little, we have like enough money to take one more vacation before we got to buckle down.
You go to Kingsport. Right.
We go to Topsail Island, the best beach in North Carolina.
Where you allegedly surf. I don't
Where
believe
I
it,
surf.
Allegedly he surfs.
I surf. There's pictures.
Photoshop's a thing.
It is a thing.
I'm a professional Photoshopper.
And Bigfoot's real. And while we're out there, I was like, would you hate me if I threw all of our life savings together and we opened a coffee shop? And she's like, no,
She's like, yes.
She's like, no, honestly, I feel like we really need to do that. I was like, okay, so all from October to Christmas, we're just going to think, dream, and plan.
Because you kind of spent this period where it's like, you got to jump. That's a very uncomfortable place to be. I've been there a billion times in my life.
And the thing is, and I know I shouldn't care what people think, but I have all these baristas that are like, oh, how long is it going to take before he's back at another coffee shop? Because, Starbucks fired you. Why don't you go work for Dunkin'? Or why don't you go work for Seven Brew? They're popping up
There's
everywhere.
Some pride involved.
There is. And I'm like, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm doing my own thing.
Right.
Like, so I'm too good for Starbucks. I'm going to go whatever. And there's that fear of like, I'm going to tell people that and then go for it and then fall on my face.
Right.
So,
and then I have to face all my
critics. Friends. That were like, oh, I thought you could do this. I'm like, I did too, buddy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember taking you out to dinner. So January, we both decide on the name of the coffee shop and we start working on the plans. Sydney takes up a nannying job. So I can stay at home and find where we're building this place. Sydney is like the best wife, number one trooper. She's incredible. Doing all of this so that we can live this dream of our own place. Right.
And as soon as she smartens up and divorces you, I'm next in line.
Yeah. Tell that to your girlfriend who also listens to this show.
She understands.
She gets it.
Oh, don't worry. She does not listen to the show. So be careful with that word supportive.
She's got 117 plants that will care for her when this is over.
She's very busy. She's also down for a throuple. We'll make it work.
Okay.
We'll make it work.
That's what a blessing.
Quadruple. We'll do it. You don't have to go anywhere. Yeah.
Anyway, she's doing this nannying job and she loves kids anyway, so that's great for her.
Sure.
And I take you out to eat. We go to Drake's.
And we do?
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember this story.
We go to Drake's January-ish. Okay. January 2023.
After the firing.
Yes, this has been a year now.
Okay.
I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, I work at ECU. Or you work at a bank, something.
Yeah, some bank.
Something. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to get into stand-up. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You should do that. And you're like, what are you doing right now?
That timeline might be a little fuzzy. I was probably at the school then.
Yes, you were at the school.
But
or
still,
you were about to leave
I was
the
subbing,
school.
Yeah, I was subbing.
And you missed those kids or something. And I was
Yes, I was very attached to some of the kids.
You were. And I was like, we're going to open a shop. Mm-hmm. And your first words were, God, we took bets that you would do this. And immediately I was like, oh, well.
Yeah.
I had all this like.
I had 50 on black, by the way.
I had built up this moment so I could tell you. And I was hoping for like excitement. And instead you're just like, yeah, we thought you were going to do that.
It's about time.
About time kind of deal. I told you the story of getting the building, finding the stuff.
Yeah.
I start renovating it. We're tearing out carpet. We're putting down.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of steps involved. And, I do want to give you kind of a brief chance here to, you don't have to shout out by name or anything, but just acknowledge what I know about the business is that anytime you have two people like you and Sydney who are like, we have this dream, that's a great story. The truth is there's 100 people who have blown wind under the sail or helped out or been there when you needed them. I mean, we could go on and on with listing them all out, but just tell me a little bit about the support that came, because I think that's another thing about chasing your dreams. You just, when you're sitting there, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be doing this all on my own. Mm-hmm. That's not really how that works, typically. If you're fortunate, if you're blessed.
Can I ask a quick question?
No. Go ahead.
Can I go get a drink of water?
Nope.
My lips are so dry.
I'll pause it. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. I'll be right back.
I'll go with you. The thing that I was very interested in is like, I assume just like anything, when business is good, it's great because you're there with your partner.
Yeah.
But when business is bad, you're there with your partner.
Yeah,
right.
dog.
And it's like, then because one of my favorite parts about having a loving and supporting partner, which I do, is that I kind of struggle with self-regulation and dealing with life as it's thrown at me, and having that support, that kind of constant, I don't want to say like, it's not endless and it's not unconditional, obviously there's limits to how much you can support a person, but having a more steady figure in my life is very good for me. And I think you and I are typically very similar. So I would assume that like when your rock or your support is going through the same stress you are in this situation where you're owning the business together, then it's like maybe at times she can't even really be that steady, because she's also kind of panicked. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which is totally fair.
I think a good way to put it is like, oh God, so We're both Christians. We both love
Yes,
God.
yeah.
Despite everything that's happened.
Yeah.
Well, tragedy happens. Some people are like, why would God do this to me? I'm running away from it. Versus tragedy happens like, oh, I'm going to follow into God, and do more of that.
And I'm sure you've gone through ebbs and flows with that too, just like everyone does.
Yeah.
Just like everyone does.
Her thing is like, God brought us too far to fail. Very powerful. That's good. That encourages
She chat
me.
GPT that, or she?
No, that's totally chat GPT.
That's all
didn't care yet. It wasn't around. 2022 in a way that works. You would say, give me an inspirational quote, and it would, be like, not all who wander are lost, Martin Luther King. And like, actually, that was J.R.R. Tolkien. Thank you, ChatGPT.
I'm pretty sure that was Abe Lincoln.
Yeah. But no, she would say that. So she's like, no worries. Meanwhile, I'm looking at our finances, and I'm like, all worries.
100%. All worries. Yeah.
We have learned a lot in our marriage and our relationship of like, we can both freak out, but we got to be there for each other.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, are you freaking out worse than me? Can I calm myself down to be there for you when you're worst? And that is a wild seesaw of like,
Yeah. And there's a great, and I don't know her name. I wish I did. There's a great psychologist that I'm sure has a whole extensive career of wonderful things she said. I know her from sound bites on TikTok. Okay. Because that's my extent of mental health is I will watch self-help videos in the form of 30-second TikToks. But she has a great thing that I love and I have saved in my TikTok where she's talking about being in a relationship, and she's saying that essentially most people assume that having a partner is 50-50. But the truth is there may be some days where it's 90-10, and I'm expecting you to pick up that 90, or you need me to pick up that 90.
Yeah.
Or there's days where you go, I can only give you 10 today. I need to help. So that's exactly what you're saying, I think, is that there's moments where she has to swoop in and be the relief, and then there's moments where maybe that flips.
Yeah.
I mean,
super.
Yeah.
This is it's funny now.
Okay.
We were just talking downstairs about
these are my favorite stories that are funny now.
They're funny now.
Yeah.
But like we were just talking
because
downstairs.
That's a real story.
It's real, and it sucks. I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I switched medication, and I'm doing way better.
Right.
You're
doing so much acid.
So much acid. So that was the solution. It's weird.
It's helping so much.
So I couldn't go to Ballad. I hate Ballad, but right behind it in the alley, this guy was like, I can cure your anxiety.
I think his name was Ballad, actually.
He might have been.
Yeah. He sang a ballad while he gave it.
He did. He went, take this, it will fix ya.
Here's a clip.
I'm so glad that I practiced warming up my vocal cords.
Did you?
Yeah.
On the car ride over?
I am really good at singing. Yeah.
Are you?
So, wow. Yeah.
Do you remember? This is a quick sidebar again. Do you remember my little silly voice antics on the mic?
Yes, I do.
I was just telling Haley about this the other day.
Are you referring to when you would be Adam Sandler in the distance?
Among others. Well, the best was, so if you have ever worked fast food, a lot of places use a similar format. But at Starbucks, we all have headsets, and there's two channels. There's a channel that talks outside, and then there's a channel that talks to everyone inside.
Yeah.
And that inside channel gets wild. Sometimes it gets wild. And sometimes they cross. Like sometimes you could be saying something, and I hear both while I'm trying to keep a straight face at the window.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to do to Bronson is if I was just in the back of the store where you could not see me, I would turn on the headset, and from far away, you would just hear me go, Adam Sandler, and then I would just go, and then you would be, and it's not even
trying. I'm like, meanwhile, while you're doing that, do that again.
But it's not even a good. That's the best part. It's a terrible impression.
It is pretty
and I'm just
bad.
going, shut up. I'm just.
But while you're doing that, someone's going, yeah, grande ice, caramel macchiato, upside down, extra caramel drizzle, hold the ice. I'm gonna need almond milk instead of 2%.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, they'd be like, and can I get that on ice? And I go, it's on ice, please. And you would be like, will you please stop it?
Yeah. It's bad.
I think at one point I started doing, I had a bunch that I would do, but anytime, I don't even remember what would trigger. Sometimes just randomly, you would just click on the headset and you would go, R2D2. And I would just go, wow. Just from a distance away.
Or if Sydney ever came through the drive-thru, I'd be like, oh, hey, Sydney. And if they don't go, my wife, everyone would just start screaming.
Those are the best days.
Oh, they're so
When
good.
somebody we knew came through, we would all just pile on.
Oh, yeah.
It was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when my grandpa used to come through, right before he got sick, he used to come see me a lot at work. And he always, he drank Folgers with Coffee Mate his entire life. He had no concept of anything beyond that.
Right.
But he adored a Starbucks vanilla latte. He thought that was the pinnacle of excellence in terms of coffee. He's like, I am rich.
He's like, how did they do this?
Right. And I would always give him my drink for free and stuff. But so he would come through, and do you remember I used to always write on his cup, I would write silly things. Like his favorite thing that always made him laugh is that's what she said. So like he had a cup or maybe a sleeve that I had written that's what she said on. And when he got sick, he kept it like right by the bed. So I have it somewhere in this house.
I love
But
that.
yeah, like just messing with people you know.
It was the greatest
So
part.
much fun. So much fun. Anyway, sorry, let's jump back to I don't know how we got here.
Yeah. So I'm feeling better. Medicine's great.
Medicine's great. You're doing a lot of acid. Yeah.
Beforehand, I was like waking up with panic attacks.
Right.
And so I wake up. I'm like, Sydney, it's 2 a.m. I hate to bug you. We both have to open in the morning.
Yeah.
I am freaking out. I think I'm dying. My heart is racing.
So funny. You're such a sweet guy to be like, excuse me, I hate to bother you, but I think I'm going to die.
My sweet loving wife, I'm going to pass away. And every time she go, you're not dying. You're having a panic attack. Go back to bed. So then this one night I wake up and I'm like, I think Sydney's awake. Like I feel her like rustling in the bed. I'm like, maybe it's the dogs. And my heart is pounding. And I got this stupid little thing that takes your...
Oh, you did?
And I'm looking at it. I'm like, 130 beats a minute. That's fast.
That's fast.
You know?
You're flying.
So I roll over. I'm like, Sydney, I'm having a panic attack. And in the middle of me saying that, we make eye contact and tears are streaming down her face. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And she goes, I think we have to go to the hospital. And I was like, I'm no longer having a panic attack.
Sober.
Your thing is different. Like
right. Yours is real.
I am zoned in. Yeah, I am. I'm
like mine's all in my head.
Yeah, and I was like, why? And she goes, my back hurts and I'm throwing up. I'm like, okay, get in the car. And we go, and she had kidney stones. And it was a horrible thing. Yeah. But like that was a moment of like for 3 weeks of me like waking up going, can I handle this? Or can she help me through it? Right. And there were some nights I'm like, I can just do this because she's got to open. I don't want to wake her up. That's in 3 hours. She needs all the sleep she can get. And then there's nights I can't do it. And I'm like, Sydney, I need you to help like talk me off the edge. Yeah. But then you see the other side.
All it took was for her to be in trouble.
She was in trouble. I'm like, hey, it's no longer about me. You have outdone me. Let's go to the hospital. You know,
I do this. I mean, I have similar experiences too, where I spend the majority of my time in my head. I mean, it is just warfare up here. It's 24/7. It is,
and I'm sure that has to do with how we were raised.
Oh, of course it does.
Moms, you're great. Shout out to the moms. Dad, what are you doing?
Couldn't tell you.
You gave me panic attacks.
Well,
now I'm
it's not just
mess.
It's a lot of stuff, but but the truth is, it's and this honestly only after like years of therapy and being pretty confident in who I am and my identity as a producer, stand-up podcast. Like I kind of have an idea of my lane in life now, to where I really don't have any shame or guilt in saying, it's just tough to be me sometimes. And I think almost everybody, probably everybody, feels that way. I'm not saying that's exclusive to me. I'm not asking for pity. no one really knows what goes on in your head. However,
but you have the guilt over.
Of course,
there's people worse off than me. There's a AJR song off of not their newest album, but the one before it, where they were like, I can't remember the lines. They're talking, everyone's laughing at me, but not like they used to, and I shouldn't be feeling sad or anxious or upset because there are people that have it so much worse than me. So why do I deserve to feel this way? Yeah, and I'm like, oh, dang, yeah. Exactly how
Are these the same guys that did a remix of a SpongeBob song?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just making sure you're quoting that band.
Yeah. They've done wild stuff since then. Look, their dad died, and now they write like really upsetting music that hits way too close to home.
I don't think I like that. I don't need to dip my toes
You should literally go from I'm Ready, which is their hot radio song, 2012, 2013. Banger. And now they have like... it's the closest thing to ska, where it's like,
I'm out.
No, I don't want to lose you at ska, because the part of ska is like.
In fact, I'm gonna bleep that. I don't even believe in that word. I don't want that word out there. I hate that.
They say like, oh, it's happy music, but the lyrics are sad.
Oh, sure.
AJR has taken on that whole thing of like, this sounds like such a fun song. I wonder what it's about. And
then I do like that.
My grandpa and my dad died, and now there's no point for me to live anymore. I'm like, oh, sick. I love you guys.
It's great music.
Yeah, it's good music.
Yeah.
They did a song with the Blue Man Group.
What are we doing?
I don't know. So the relationship is give and take, and
it is.
It's
what I was gonna say is that there are, despite having that struggle of like living in your own head, I relate to the idea that all it really takes is for someone I care about to be in actual real peril, to where immediately my brain goes, oh, we don't matter at all. Like you snap into that thing where it's like, oh, Haley's sick, we have to take care of her, or at the time, like we mentioned, losing 2 grandparents throughout the pandemic. Like really, no matter what stress I was under with the crazy college schedule that I had and all this weight and all this stuff.
For that one night you rendered an entire film and the power went out and you woke up and you had to re-render it, but the project was doing
that
12
happens
hours.
so many times.
Yeah, dog,
that the rendering, and this show is very similar to that sometimes. So if you ever wonder why episodes air a little late, give me a break here. I'm trying the best I can. But no, I mean having a partner that can shift in those levels of support is very important. What I'm curious is, now that the business is in a place where it's doing a lot better and we'll just say more consistent, and it's some of the weight's been relieved. What has that been like to now kind of, do you allow yourself to kind of sit with that and kind of pat you and Sydney on the back and go, we made it here? Yeah,
the worries change. So the worries are no longer like, are we going to stay open? Yeah. So after year 1, there's a measurable metric, of like, so all of year 2, we were doubling the sales we had every day. Yeah. So, I mean, that sounds great, but like opening day, $1,000, that's fantastic.
Right.
Day 2 of being open, it's $100 day. So when you double that to 200, it's like, wow, we're really growing,
Right. It doesn't feel so great. Yeah.
Now we're in year 3 and we're still like, we're making more than previous years, but it's not double. And I know it's not going to exponentially grow.
But you're in a position where you don't have panic attacks every night about losing your house.
Yes, exactly. Right. Now the panic attacks or any stress I have is like, I am now in charge of the livelihood of the 6 people I brought onto this team. One, mainly, they're all my family, which I'm very lucky to surround myself with. Like I've got my cousin Kirsten, my mom, who
even your brother is there a lot helping out.
Yes, he is in school now,
right?
So
he's not on staff, but he's around.
He's always around. I see him in the morning. I tell him like, "Oh, good
free
luck
labor."
At school.
Yeah. I say use him.
I love child labor. You can quote me on that.
All right, there's a soundbite.
Yep, that's great. But like, it's me, my wife, my mother, my little brother that comes in to help. Kirsten. And that's all family.
Right.
And they're trusting me to run the business in a way that can continually provide for them.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And then I brought on Emily and Lauren.
Right.
They're fantastic.
Because if things don't go good, you could, you've obviously, the whole first half of this podcast, you've been in the situation where everything's taken away from you and you start from scratch.
Right.
When you're responsible for that not happening to other people,
it sucks.
That's where
it's scary.
That's a whole other level of.
And like when we first opened, I could be like, "Mom, I can't pay you this week," and she'd be like, "Oh, that's okay. I'm your mom. This is how it's supposed to be." Right. But then it's like January 7th, and we had 3 snow days, and I'm like, "Kirsten, Sydney, Mom, if I pay you, I can't pay rent."
Right.
You're going to have to trust me that this will work.
Right.
And now we've not missed a single paycheck.
But that's during that period of like this could go away.
It could go away. Yeah. Now we are settled to where if something happens, it's going to be my fault.
Right.
And
I wouldn't put it past you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But I love the encouragement.
Stuff up
I couldn't wait for me to come on this podcast. I was kind of nervous because I'm like, we joke a lot and have a lot of fun.
Oh, don't you worry.
Like I'm be put
I've
on
been
blast.
very nice during this episode.
So nice to me.
I have not mentioned the anger I've had for you for the last month trying to get this together. Trying to get you in here.
I got sick. I changed medicine.
Sure.
My wife had kidney stones. Sure. I told a joke about that earlier, and you're like, yeah, it's funny when it's on the podcast. But when it makes you miss our scheduling, then it's not funny anymore.
You just break my heart.
No, I'm just
glad you climbed down from that chicory tower you're on to come and spend some time with your real friends in the air. Yeah.
Yeah, so the fear is no longer staying open. That is covered. The fear is now like, I've built these people up. A lot of them trust me on their paychecks and to live their lives the way they live them, especially ones that aren't family.
Right.
They're slowly becoming that, because we are with each other all the time.
It's a close team.
6 employees, all of us working 40 hours a week.
Right.
Me and Sydney are working 60 to 70 hours a week. My cousin Kirsten's pregnant. Congratulations.
Yeah.
She's going to have a baby soon. So we got to pick up the slack when she has her child. Like, there's a lot of things I'm juggling, and then she needs a job to come back to.
And this may be a little bit of projection. I think that all of those things are so. It's not that they're trivial. They obviously are real fears and real anxieties.
Yeah.
But they have replaced the things that you already had no idea how to attack and overcame.
Yes.
So to me, and this, and I'm almost speaking to myself in this, that a lot of times I find myself going, "How will I ever cross these hurdles?"
Yeah.
it really takes some doing, but occasionally I'm able to turn around, and this is, again, after years of therapy and introspective thought, but if you turn around and just look and go, oh, no, I've crossed a bunch of hurdles, actually. Yeah. I'm pretty good at jumping these hurdles.
I'm good at jumping. I'll make it happen.
I will actually probably work out. Yeah. Right. Like that's hard to get to that place, but I think, are you able to give yourself that, or is that another area that maybe you rely more on Sydney?
No, I can get to that point. Yeah. I maybe put too much pressure on myself, and Sydney has to tell me to calm down.
Sure, me too.
Like, Kirsten's gone. What's the answer? I work harder.
Right.
That's how I see it.
You overcompensate.
Yeah, and Sydney's like, well, what if you didn't and we all worked harder? I'm like, I don't want you guys to have to work hard. You already work hard.
Right.
Or she's like, what if we hired someone else? Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if we have the money to hire someone else. And she goes, Kirsten won't
You've been trying to
there.
poach me for years.
I have. I try to steal him every day. He will not do it.
You can't afford
It's because we don't have the headsets anymore, so he can't be in the every 5 seconds.
That would be great.
It would be something. Yeah. It would be great.
Even just for a day.
Just one.
Honestly, I would argue probably most of my barista skills are just gone. I mean, I have like a very makeshift home setup here, but it's not anything.
Honestly, retraining you to do the new math on everything, especially because like Starbucks is like, oh, it's you pump this.
Yeah.
And with our store, it's like it has to be 8 grams of ground espresso by weight. When you pour it in the shot glass, you need to double it, so it needs to be 16 grams of liquid.
Yeah,
and you'll have to memorize all these new numbers. Yeah. And that would be the hardest part. You could do it.
I could do it, but I'm not gonna.
Okay,
I don't want to be a barista.
You heard it here when I'm begging him to run my 18th store across the nation. He's like,
probably
I swore never to do it again.
Well, while we're there, talk to me about that. I mean, so now obviously it's I assume too soon to be looking at franchising or building or anything like that. No. Right now, you're just happy to be settled.
Right.
But I am the same way. I mean, there was a time when if you asked me, what's your goal in stand-up? I would have said, if I get paid $1 for telling jokes, I'll never have a goal above that.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Amazing.
And that happened about 6 months in, and I'm 3.5 years in now. So nice. I know what that is when you set these goals and that goalpost keeps moving, because that's the thing. That's the type of person you are.
I don't want to get complacent. So like this year, when we're not doubling our profit, I have to constantly tell myself that's okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to double your profit year over year. It's a miracle it happened in the first place.
Right. You know? Right. And we're secure now, so let's
we're secure. Let's calm down a little bit.
Exhale a little. Sure.
But I don't want to get complacent.
No.
I want to make sure we're still growing.
Yeah.
I think a really funny anecdote would be when we pitched this to the bank. They said, "Wow, this is a lot of paperwork." I wrote a 13-page paper on what I'm going to do and how I'm going to change the community. I'm like, I'm going to do coffee education.
They were like, we just needed one paragraph.
Yeah. They're like, open a coffee shop. That's all they wanted.
Right.
But I was like, I'm going to host, please. I'm going to host trivia nights. I'm going to host Bible studies. I'm going to host board game tournaments, video game tournaments. I'm going to teach people about coffee.
All of which you've done.
All of which I've done, which is great. And with the help of the family that's helped run it, you know? And the bank, they keep turning pages, and they're like, "Oh, you have a financials section." I'm like, "I want you to know every money, every dollar you give me, exactly where it's going. This much in furniture, this much in espresso machine, this much in supplies. This is the FF&E, like everything. I give it to them." And they were like, "Okay, how are you going to prove you have a profit?" And I'm like, "If these are my prices, and I run the thing, and I'm like, my least expensive thing is $1.
Yeah,
and it used to be a shot of espresso. Espresso's gone up because of the tariffs." It's whatever. You can't grow coffee here.
Shout out to the big man.
So now an espresso shot, to make money off it, we had to charge $1.50, right?
Right.
But for $1,
God, I'm never coming there again.
I know.
Inflation.
Starbucks just raised their prices. Ha 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 ha. I'm cheaper than them.
They do all the time.
I did that, and then I was like, what's the most expensive thing you can get? So it's like a 3 coffee flight. You get a show. We come brew it in front of you, tell you how it's made, where it's located, the flavor notes, and 3 pastries, and you do that whole thing, $35.
Which is awesome.
Thank you. It's really fun.
How often is that? A once a day thing? Is that a once a month thing?
Like, when we first opened, it was once a week.
Right.
No one had heard of it. It's just so exciting.
Sure. Also, and I don't know how we made it to this point and not address this, but the location that you chose is, because I grew up there, I'm allowed to say this, is a very small town.
Yes, I chose a very small town of the Tri-Cities.
Right. It's not even a Tri-City. It's one of the in-betweens.
It's somehow that it's in between and nobody knows about it.
Right.
But it's there.
Well, I grew up there. I actually have a very good affinity for Blountville, is where we're talking. Blountville, Tennessee.
Yes, I love Blountville.
It's a very small community.
Come to learn all these people.
Sure. Well, that's what I was going to say, is that I would imagine that starting out, it may be the smaller community is a little hesitant to this newcomer. They don't quite
yeah.
understand things like coffee flights or single origin. They don't know what you're talking about.
When we definitely first opened, an older gentleman came in and he's like, "What do you guys do here?" I'm like, "We sell coffee." And he goes, "Arby's does that." And I was like, "You're right."
Technically, he's not wrong.
I know. And he's like, "Why don't I just go to Arby's?" I was like, "Why don't you try our coffee?
Yeah.
And just see if it's a little different." And he tried it and he's like, "It just tastes like coffee."
Hilarious.
I've never seen him again.
That's
you know.
funny.
But then we have people come in and they're like, "Oh wow,
To
a
each their
coffee
own.
shop," and they're just love it.
Yeah.
You know, we're very pretentious. We're very meticulous.
Well,
in
you're
everything.
also it's not just a coffee shop too. I mean, it's honestly, and we'll plug some stuff at the end here. But
Yeah.
I really would encourage anyone listening who's not been to go and to experience it, because I travel a lot for comedy and I've experienced coffee all over. Great coffee. And I'll be the first to say, and you're not going to love this, I've had coffee that's better than yours.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's out there.
Yeah, it
What
exists.
I have maybe not experienced is, now some of this is biased because of my personal connection to you and Skidney.
It's true. If you told me it was your favorite, it would sound bad.
Well, no. But the
See how I could twist it on you like that? Isn't that fun?
there's something in that room that you guys have created. There's an unexplainable, I hate this word because I hate people that use it. There's a vibe that you all have, I assume, worked tirelessly to create, or have worked not at all, and it's just a natural fall off of who you are.
It could be both.
We
tried
mix
really
of both.
hard.
Yeah.
Someone has called it kitschy, which I thought was like kitschy. So like there's a niche,
Right.
but then like a kitsch or kitschy is like it's a niche that you're over the top in.
Right.
Like you're coming here for one thing
Like
and you're
over-themed,
over-themed. And
yeah.
also I really want to go for cozy without not being cluttered.
Sure.
And that is such a fine line to go through.
Well, I think you guys are doing a great job. I mean, I think that the nature of the beast also is that you want to have as many, like an overwhelming amount of board game options.
Oh yeah, we just hit 325.
That's crazy.
It is
I mean,
crazy.
well, we haven't even talked about that. So let's just say I walk into your store for the first time. Let's say I'm an old man who usually gets my coffee at Arby's.
Yeah.
And I walk in and I say, "What is this place?" What do you say? What is your take on what this business has become at this stage?
I tell people I'm a place that is going to teach you about coffee and what you didn't know you need. If you think you like coffee, I want to try to open your eyes into seeing, how can crafting something and pouring your soul into it change that experience for you, right?
Right.
And then on top of that, I want to be a place in the community where if you thought you were missing something, you'll find it here.
Right. And I think that aspect is obviously lacking from the chains we've discussed. It's present in other local or even non-local shops. I'm sure there's countless hubs across the country, but your shop is unique in that, you have the board game option also, 325 board games, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
And there's is it a daily pass? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so they were all free, and then we started realizing people were not taking care of them.
Right.
And I hate that because we have to buy them, you know? And there's nothing worse than opening a board game and half the pieces are missing or broken. It sucks.
That makes me want to go to Arby's and get coffee.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm glad that's what you're going to hold on to. No, so now we charge either $5 a day. We've got these walls lined with board games, and for $5 a day, you can play anything over there.
Yeah.
And it's not per person or per table. So if like one person comes in, it's $5. If that person brings in 6 friends, it's still going to be $5 for them to all play.
For everybody there. It's
anyone in
flat
that group, right?
Right.
And then if you find yourself coming back a lot, there's a month pass, and it's $15. So 3 visits pays for itself.
Sure.
A lot of people that get the $15 pass are there twice a week.
Right.
More
than pays for itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then people are a lot more careful with the pieces. They're a lot more respectful. We didn't start that rule until there were like 22-year-old adults throwing Scrabble tiles at each other, and I was like, this can't.
And I do apologize for that. I was upset.
Yeah, well, it's not a word. I don't care what the new Urban Dictionary said. But then, so it would suck to pay $5 for chess. It would suck to pay $5 for Uno. So now we have like a board that you can look at, and it shows you the free games.
Oh.
And then, so you come in, you're like, oh, I want to play canasta with my grandma.
Yeah.
Or me and my friend have been studying chess. I just want a board. I'm not going to make anybody pay to do that. And if you bring in your own games, I'm also not going to make you pay. That would be stupid. If you want to throw your pieces at each other, that's your problem.
It is a fun pastime.
It is a fun pastime.
Yeah.
But that was my big, like, wouldn't it be fun to come down somewhere and you play a new game for 3 to 4 hours?
Yeah.
Or you catch up with an old friend over a game of chess, Magneto and Xavier style.
Sure. Or more importantly, Ollie's Game. Are you familiar with Ollie's Game?
No.
You're a liar. Ollie's Game is a Pixar short that was at the beginning
yes, I am a liar.
With the old man.
Bug's Life. Yep.
Beginning of Bug's Life.
And every morning we open at 6. Well, I get there at 6:30. It takes 5 minutes to open everything, and then I sit down and I play Ollie's Game before the customers come in. Yeah.
Do you know that Ollie is he's one of the original animators, Stan and Ollie?
No way.
So there's a group. This is, sorry to derail. This
me.
is the first time I've really talked animation on the history of the show. When Disney launched, there's Walt Disney. He's the inspiration, the vision behind it all. But there's a group they call them the Nine Old Men, and they're like the original animators for Disney. So all the classics, that first wave of Disney hits, there's 9 old men who aren't even really that old at the time, but work on it.
Yeah.
By the time Pixar evolves somewhat out of Disney, there's a whole mess there. A lot of them have passed on, and they are old men. But the 2 of them that were very involved in Pixar's founding is Stan and Ollie.
Nice.
And it's Ollie Johnson, and I can't remember Stan's last name off the top of my head. But anyways, big deal, like legends in the animation community. And so Ollie's Game is kind of a tribute to him in that they animated him. The 2 guys are also in The Incredibles.
Yep.
There's a scene at the very end when,
just like the old days when they take out
is it Underminer?
Yes.
When the Underminer comes up and they go, now that's old school.
Yes.
That's Stan and Ollie. Anyway, sorry.
He also shows up to Toy Story 2.
Yes.
He fixes Woody. It's very
yes, he
good.
does. Yeah.
We also have a library.
You do, yeah.
It's pretty extensive.
And the event spaces or community spaces.
Yep, we have rooms you can rent. People use it for business meetings or birthday parties. We've had a lot of baby showers. I don't know why I said it like that. Baby showers.
Yeah.
And then most importantly,
now let me ask you this: when you let's say you have a week where you have a lot of baby showers going on, does the water bill increase or does it stay roughly the same?
You know, it increases.
That was a lot for that, huh?
That was a lot. That was really a lot. I was like, how does he know we have so many baby showers?
I'm ashamed of it.
I'm
so ashamed of it. I had to do one.
I can't even answer you. I don't want to look at you right
stupid. Now. So, no, I do. So there's a lot of there's the event spaces. You have I know you've had trivia nights. You've had different things. You refuse to have a Don't Tell show, and that's fine.
I don't refuse. I can tell you why, and I will say it on this podcast.
You don't have to say it.
No, I'm going to say it. My landlord will not let us do alcohol, and he won't. You can ask him.
Feels convenient. I'll ask him.
Okay, sure.
Give me his number. I'll call him.
I will. I'd love that to happen. But he won't let us have alcohol on the premises, and because of that, we can't do Don't Tell.
I also am pretty hip to the. I mean, it doesn't actually offend me that you won't let us have a Don't Tell show. It does offend me, but it doesn't. But
it's not me.
It's you.
It's not me.
No, the truth is that I am also aware, and that probably maybe is true. I don't know. That might be true. What's also true is that
print a retraction when you call this guy and you're like, guys, actually isn't Bronson. He's not a prude.
I will never retract.
Who would have known?
Fun fact about me, I've never apologized for anything in my life. I also know that the Don't Tell Tri-Cities brand and the Fox's Den brand don't exactly align in core values. So I totally understand. I wouldn't.
I've been to like 3 Don't Tell shows.
Been, right.
I love them
but also, you can support them and they're your interest, knowing that it's still not necessarily what's best for your business and your community. That doesn't bother me at all. Yeah. That genuinely does not bother me.
That is maybe why this episode's a little cleaner than your other ones.
That is also part of the reason.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to be flexible. I mean, that's part of, hosting a show like this too, is I want to, it's not just the listener either. I also want the guests to be comfortable and to kind of operate on the way they would normally talk or behave. Before we do wrap up, I do want to ask you, is there any upcoming events? So this will be out about mid-October.
Okay.
By then we're in the full swing of the fall, the busy season, the pumpkin spice is pumpkinin, the apple cider ciderin. So what's the deal?
We already have our fall menu going up with
okay.
pumpkin spice, apple cider. It really sucks because we got on cookie butter in June and we were like, oh, no one's doing cookie butter. I can't wait to show everybody up. And then immediately Dunkin', Dutch Bros, maybe even Starbucks, I haven't checked, launched day 1 with cookie butter. I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah. We crafted this recipe.
We're
so stoked. Yeah, I wish that was it.
Yeah.
But no, so if you're getting this in the middle of October, you would have just missed our Halloween trivia. So we do We do the first Thursday of every month. We do trivia, and it changes. We've done general trivia. We'll do Jeopardy. We just did Are You Smarter Than a Barista instead of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? That was really fun.
Right.
If you've seen the college humor show Game Changer, we do that every year on anniversary. That's way too fun. I have a big power fantasy because I can't believe what people will do for points in a fake game show.
Yeah.
We tweezed someone's nose hairs for 10 points.
Really?
Yeah, it was so good.
Whoa.
It was amazing.
That's crazy.
We just
that literally,
dude,
I'm like, I have to like touch
we did a thing, and I was like, I need the most stubborn person from every team to come up.
Yeah.
And they sent everyone sends one person up. I'm like, everyone's gonna plank, and whoever lasts the longest, you get 5 points for your team. Wow. And 12 minutes later, it was down to 3 people. I'm like, I cannot believe how stubborn you are.
They're dying.
I'm like, it's 5 points, and it's just sweat and shaking.
5 fictional points.
5 fictional points to say you're better than the other team. It was so great.
Bragging rights.
But November, we normally do like a cozy trivia or like a friends trivia. We pick a TV show for that month. December is Christmas trivia, of course. Our Christmas drinks come out on Black Friday.
Okay.
We always do peppermint mocha, but we'll have a lot more like candy cane, and we get like my grandma used to make this really amazing Russian tea.
Oh yeah.
Growing up as a kid, and she passed away before she could even see any of these dreams come true. Right. So every year I've got my grandma's tea.
That's really special. Yeah.
I can't say much about the other fancy drinks because Cookie Butter bit me in the butt in June. Well, I don't want to say it, and those will uncover when they do.
But they'll be exciting, and
every quarter we do a vendors market. So there's a lot of like local artists in our area that I don't think get the attention they deserve. And as they come through our store, we've made a lot of friends with them. We started this about a year and a half ago. Yeah. We will run a market where you can look at local art and you can see what people are working on. And I've got hiccups really bad. And
it's all that water.
It's all that water I'm drinking from my Joe Camel cup.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. The next big one we're going to have is going to be on Black Saturday. So the day after Black Friday, we got Thanksgiving, Black Friday, do your corporate shopaholic bonanza.
Step on people at Best Buy, whatever you got to do.
Whatever for a TV.
Sure. Beat up an old lady for a pillow, whatever you got to do.
It's the fancy Japanese pillow. You got to beat up an old lady. She doesn't need it.
Well, I do that year round. I don't wait for Black Friday.
But that Thursday, right after Thanksgiving, we're having our vendors market so that the community can come in and support local vendors, do a really big push before Christmas. Right. And you can support something local and pick out stuff for your family. Awesome. I think that's going to be really big.
That's really huge. Yeah. That's awesome. And people, I think, more than ever want to buy local.
I think
they're aware
too.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something I kind of talked about with Sarah that you mentioned. Her involvement with downtown, she kind of said a similar thing of like really more than ever people are looking for how do we get involved by being consumers, because it's like you might not want to volunteer locally, but you choose local shops over Applebee's or whatever.
Yeah. I also want to say like the shift in mindset from corporate to local has been so good for us. Because when we opened our store, they were telling me like, hey, they want to build a Dunkin' here in 5 years, but this is not a place for coffee, so we're not worried about it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool, that's no big deal. 5 years, I could build my clientele. Yeah. And then the Christmas of us being open for the first year, these executives come in with Dunkin' name tags, and I'm like, oh, cool, hey, we've got attention. Yeah. This is great. And they're like, how are things going? I'm like, they're really good. I mean, this is our first holiday season. We just opened. And they went, cool. Well, we're opening in the next 5 years. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You know, I'm glad you gave me time to whatever.
Thanks.
January 7th, they broke ground on something.
They basically walked in and went, oh, it's viable?
Oh, it's viable. We're here.
Give
us 3 weeks.
God, that's dirty.
A little bit.
Dirty Dunkin'.
But because of like this big, we have an amazing set of regulars in community, and we've been able to build these relationships.
It's such a different experience.
It is.
I mean, it's the equivalent of Taco Bell and an authentic Mexican.
Right. And we have people come off the highway. Same. They'll come right off the highway and see the Dunkin'. And then look at, local coffee shops and like, oh, 10 more seconds and I can have something local. We get people off the highway all the time.
That's fantastic. That's great.
Amazing. Everyone that supports local, I would do that at Starbucks when I was a manager, because they're always looking for the next best thing in coffee.
Sure.
We're near the end of third wave coffee. I didn't even get really scientific or weird about it, but like we're getting to that point where we're tipping into fourth wave, and what does that look like? And so being on the hunt for that as a Starbucks store manager, I'm like, what is the next thing people are looking for? And now I'm living it.
Yeah.
And so And now I'm seeing other people do that too.
Well, you got just ahead of the curve too, to where it's starting, but almost too far ahead to where you were drowning, waiting for that tide to lift you. Like now, but now you're. I'm
like, there. Who wants me to brew coffee in a siphon for 30 minutes? While I tell you the history of coffee beans, and like
nobody.
7 people wanted it, and now we're at the point where we've got people who are like, "What's your new single origin? Who are you partnering with? Have you done this company? Have you done this company yet? Is it?"
That's awesome.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I actually, and I've meant to tell you this earlier. We're working with a new venue right now. By the time this episode comes out, we've already had the show, so I can say it. It's at a company called Spark Plaza in Johnson City, and it's really cool team from the ones I've engaged with. It's like a co-working space, so they have different. You can do the monthly subscription. They have different mixer networking events, all kinds of stuff. But anyways, we're doing a cool show there. Hopefully, I'm sure it went great. By the time this comes out, I'm sure it went great. But the guy who works there, that is my direct contact, emailed me a few days after I went and looked at the place, and we're kind of going back and forth and like nailing down this date. And he goes, also, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but if you're ever looking for places to do it, don't tell. I found this really amazing coffee shop in Blountville called the Fox's Den Board Game Cafe. I swear on my life. And I said, so I hate the Fox's Den Board Game. I literally was like, don't you ever speak those words to me ever again. And then I sent a follow-up email, was like, that was a joke, by the way. I love Bronson. He's a great friend of mine, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, oh, haha, okay, cool.
You scared that guy so bad.
Poor kid. He's so nice. But he was just like, I think that space is really amazing and would be perfect. And I was like, I agree, but the owner hates me, so we'll never get to do it.
I do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Anyways, without you even knowing that, and also the amount of times that I have had a conversation with a person who's like, what is that, Nathaniel? Do you know about that? It happens at work all the time. What's that thing off Exit 69, that coffee place? And I'm like, Dunkin'? And they're like, no.
Thanks.
No, the other one. And I'm like, don't worry. Just go to Dunkin'. I always tell them. I always tell them.
Oh, it's a true friend, man.
No, truly. I mean, I've been a spokesperson advocate for the Fox's Den since day one, because I don't know. Certain things in life you just know. And the truth is too, like, I don't know that I ever say like, oh, it's the best coffee in the world, or oh, it's the cheapest prices, or it's so consistent, or you're gonna have a great time. Basically, what I always say is just, I know the owners, and you're in good hands there. They're just great people, so just go and support it. So that's kind of my final thought on it. But is there anything else you want to plug or promote for the business? We maybe have not said the full name of the business one time.
So my business is the Fox's Den Board Game Cafe. Yes. And I'm going to take that clean so you can just insert it through one more time. Ready? The Fox's Den Board Game Cafe. And you can just, and you can throw that throughout the pod.
What I'm going to do...
2 minutes, it just plays over whatever we're talking about.
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it crystal clear, but the track above it that plays over it is going to be... yeah.
Thanks, Adam Sandler.
That's going to be
I don't know. I didn't... I want to throw out how great Blountville is.
Yeah.
But just because like we couldn't be there without them.
Yeah.
I picked it because I grew up close to Blountville when we moved up here, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a good in-between spot, and I felt like there wasn't a lot to do there.
Yeah.
And not like restaurants, because there are great restaurants there, And,
there's Pal's, Burger King. There's a lot.
There's a new place, Luigi's Pizza. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. My grandma's obsessed with it.
It's so good. Yeah. I mean, there's... you're going to
Dunkin'?
You're going to cut this out.
I love Dunkin'.
Arby's, Subway, the fireworks store. No, just
there's a fireworks store.
The Blountville hardware store is fantastic. They were some of our first customers, and now they opened it. We actually serve coffee. They were our first
event,
catering event.
Yeah.
And then we did our first wedding and catered some different things there. But everyone in Blountville has come to support us full send. You know?
That's great.
I love the community that's there and who we've rallied around.
Yeah.
Our 2-year anniversary, the day before, was that huge storm, right?
I recall.
And our store started flooding.
I recall.
And we couldn't stop it from flooding. I'm like, we have to be here tomorrow, and it's our 2-year anniversary, and it's such a big deal, and the floors are wet, and we can't be operational. So I drive down, because I was supposed to be off that day. I drive down, I start mopping, and then other customers are like, oh my gosh, what's happening? I'm like, store's flooding. I'm going to be here all night. And they're like, we'll get mops. And they leave and come back.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden there's 20 customers helping me mop my store and bringing in fans. And they're like, you've got to be open tomorrow. Tomorrow's the big day. And it's like, I'm like, it is. Oh my gosh, it is. I can't believe you're helping me. And then my landlord comes in and he's like, who are all these people? I'm like, they're customers. And he goes, they're not employees. I'm like, no. And he goes, are you paying them to help you? I'm like, I can't. And he's like, there's random strangers coming to help fix your store for tomorrow. Yeah. And I went, well, they're not strangers. We see them like once a week.
They're friends.
They're literally just here to help us to make sure we're open for our big day. Yeah. And he's like, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
And he left. And like, some of them were
He's
family
like, by the
friends.
way, I still don't believe in you.
Yeah.
He just keeps throwing it
every
out.
time. I think it's kind of like the negative reinforcement. If like, if I keep telling you can't do it, you'll keep trying to prove me wrong. And I guess that's kind of working.
Or he's just a mean guy.
Who knows? I won't take a side.
You can't.
I don't think he'll listen to this.
He won't.
But yeah, he's it was incredible for him to see, like, after 2 years, I've built this community that if I'm in trouble, they show up and help. Yeah. And I've done the same thing. There's been things.
It's very special.
We'll go help different locations, different people, and I just love it, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that they're supported. I'm glad that everything is in a place now where you can relax a little bit. Obviously, I know there's big ideas and there's all these future goalposts, and I'm sure you'll hit them. But I do, as someone who violently fights with myself on the same topic all the time, I do want to say that I do love you, and I hope that you can get to a point where you can give yourself a little bit of that relief and take, even if it's just a moment every now and then, to just go, we're doing something crazy here.
We are,
and we're doing it, and we're okay, and we're going to keep doing it, we're going to keep growing it. Because I mean, if you jump back to you at those low points, if you jump back to you when you get fired from Starbucks,
or me crying on the kitchen floor,
or that,
like I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to have to not pay my mom for all the amazing work she does.
Jump back to any of those moments. I think that if you could ask that Bronson in that moment, he would probably say, oh, did we make it? And you go, yeah, we made it. He would be like, oh, are we grateful? Are we relaxed? And you're like, no, we're still freaking out. He would probably say, lighten up on us a little bit, because you're very similar to me in that. Anyways, that's it. Fox's Den Board Game Cafe in Blountville, Tennessee. It's right off the interstate, exit 69. You can't miss it. Great coffee, better vibes, better people, Papa John's. It's great. It's good stuff. Yeah. And also, Dunkin's not that good anyways.
No, it's not. It's like $2 more than what we got.
It's not good.
A shaken espresso is just an Americano. Why are you adding a $6 fee to that?
Let the people know.
Let the people know. They're taking me away. They're cuffing me. A shaken espresso is just an Americano. Oh God.
I'm literally gonna cut to the one camera that can clearly see no one else is in the room.
Thanks
for coming, buddy. I appreciate you. Thanks for listening.
Just in case I didn't say it enough, I couldn't have done this without my wife.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done this without my mom.
She'll be in here next week, and
advertising. My
she'll
brother
set you
Heath,
straight.
He's the best. Yeah. Kirsten, you're freaking fantastic. You almost made me say the F word after we did this whole thing clean.
Freaking fantastic.
Because she's just that hard of a worker.
She's just that
Emily and
fantastic.
Lauren, you are the best additions we could ever
Why don't you just shout out to everybody ever?
Nathaniel.
We got to wrap this
up. It was an honor having you on my podcast.
Oh.
I love you, man.
I'm happy to be here.
This has been awesome.
Love you too. Thank you guys. Support the show.
Which one do I
follow the show?
To?
Whichever one you want. Support the show. Support the Fox's Den. Thanks for listening. Bye.